Hi, and welcome to Cat Run Figures. I'm your host, Caitlin, and today we're going to be reviewing God Country, issue 3. So, getting right on into the comic, we get to see Emmett with his granddaughter, and she's playing outside, and he's spending time with her, and this is something that never happened before. And his family can finally just relax and enjoy their lives. For the first time, they don't have his illness looming over them. And, I mean, even Janie and his son, they're not fighting about him. She's not wanting to leave right away. They're able to just enjoy a beer and chill, which is something this family really needed. The family was falling apart in the first issue. So I love this moment. We get to see Dee, who is Emmett's granddaughter, and she asks if she can play with Violeflax. Violeflax being the Lord of Swords, and she asks if she could play with him. And of course, grandfather doesn't really know what to tell her. So instead, says, why don't you just ask him? And she asks him very nicely, and his response is, do you think me a toy? And he goes on a really long-winded explanation of exactly what he is and how he is a part of every blade. He feels all the death, all of the rise of blood, the throats that are being currently slit, the people that are currently being dismembered. It goes on and on talking about kingdoms being overthrown, and the entire time, like, you can tell this is probably going to scar this child for life. And Emmett's saying, hey, easy. And Emmett's trying to calm the situation by saying, Dee, why don't you go run along and play? And then then Violeflax tries to talk about the fact that he also helps out young champions, and he is going to be there for so many young men who will grow into being great heroes. Men that aren't 100% sure for themselves yet, but he will be there for them when their time comes. And he's saying that he's going to be there, like he is for Emmett now. And of course, that's a bit much for any small child to handle. So she runs off really upset. Emmett's thinking, oh snap, we really screwed it this time. Then we get to see a real conversation between Roy and Janie. And Roy is explaining that he had wished for his father to just pass, because then it wouldn't be so burdensome on his family. It wouldn't be tearing his family apart. He prayed for something to take him away. And then that thing showed up. The monster that we saw in the first issue showed up and attacked them. He feels responsible for it. Then Emmett calls Janie away by stating that Dee probably needs her mom. She's a little upset now. And he and his son just have a moment, share a beer on the porch, and talk about life. And just when you think this family is turning everything around and it's all gonna be good and hugs from now on, Roy tries telling his father that he had wished for him to be dead at one point in time, and Emmett turns around and says, your mother hugged you too much. Wow. So I was a little below the belt, and the two men get into a little bit of a disagreement as a result, and they start arguing about whether or not what's going on with the sword is right, what needs to happen as a result. Neither one of them is really paying attention to any of the surroundings around them. And then this happens. A monster I'm not 100% sure what it is, rushes up to Roy and bites him on the neck. He punches the individual away. Vilaflax hurries to get Emmett to his son's side, and the sword tells them that he will unveil everything. Nothing can hide from Vilaflax. He also tells them that Belegrim, the god of death, is there, and he rules through the coward's way. So with Vilaflax's light emerging, we get to see this evil, dead army circled all the way around Emmett's house. So, of course, he screams and tells his son to get inside, lock all the doors, keep his family inside, that he's going to try to take care of this. And Vilaflax is there. He's talking him through it. He's telling him to breathe and not to let go. So we get to see Emmett and Vilaflax fight for the first real time, with the two of them fighting as one, fighting for his family. And the house starts to get attacked by these monsters, and Emmett's trying to get to his family, and Vilaflax says no. He's got this. Emmett just has to focus on what is currently at hand. So probably one of the better panels in this entire fight is we get to see a calling of all of the sharp weapons, knives, any kind of pitchforks, chisels, anything you can imagine, all gets called up to protect this house. So we see all the kitchen knives get pulled from the knife block, and we get to see all the tools from the tool shed get pulled out and then just get skewered through anyone who is trying to attack this house. And I love it because little Dee's cheering him on. And Vilaflax warns him that Belegrim is here, that he has to be ready. He must listen to him closely, that Belegrim is not someone to trust. And instead of actually listening to exactly what Vilaflax tells him, Emmett jumps into action and tries to strike. Belegrim was actually there to trick him. And before we can do anything, Belegrim has actually followed through with his plan. He has actually kidnapped Dina. So Emmett then asks Vilaflax where he took her. Where is she? And his answer is hell. So he tells Vilaflax, take me to hell. And Vilaflax tries to argue with him, saying that you don't just simply go into a god's home and expect there not to be repercussions, especially when you're gonna wage war against them. And he doesn't care. This is his granddaughter. So we get one last dramatic panel right there of both of Dee's parents and her toy wooden sword left on the floor. Their entire family situation that was starting to rebuild itself has just been shattered around them. Everything that they were starting to become comfortable with once more is now gone because Dina is gone. So in the next issue, we are going to see Emmett and Vilaflax go into hell, and they are going to go after the King of Death who has taken Emmett's granddaughter. So I gotta tell you, I really am enjoying the hell out of God Country so far. The art is very strong throughout. The writing is fantastic throughout. And I'm just really enjoying the story of this huge mythic sword that saved a man's life and is putting together his family once more. But we do know that a lot more is going to be coming out of this soon. There's going to be a war with more of the gods showing up, and I'm really looking forward to that. So give me a like if you like this video. Comment below and tell me whether or not you are currently reading God Country. Subscribe to my channel for more comic book content, and check out any of my older videos I have up for offer here on Cat Run Figures. And until next time, I'm your host, Caitlin. Bye.